John let me just give you a little on John. John is a personal friend of mine. He's an easy guy to take money from on the golf course. Horrible swing. But he enjoys it, and he supports Costa Mesa Country Club very well. He has a wonderful family that he's raised in this city. He has a lovely wife, Amy. He raised his kids in this town. He has a great, deep love for this town, and very deserving to be our mayor. I couldn't be happier to introduce our mayor for the state of the city, John Stevens.
Thank you, Tom. You know, ever since I was a little boy, it's been my dream to be introduced by Tom Johnson at an event like this. But seriously, you know, Tom was the Man of the Year in 1998, Costa Mesa Man of the Year. And he's still going strong 23 years later, playing from the Blue Tees and still beating the mayor. So it's great to see everybody. It's been quite some time. You know, Tom made reference to the last time we were here when Katrina spoke. That was in 2019. We didn't see each other in 2020. And in many ways, we haven't seen each other. We've been on all these bloody Zoom calls together. And there are people that I've been on 30 Zoom calls with, and I haven't seen them in person until today. So it's great to see you in person. It was definitely worth it to wear a suit, and even the pants to suits. You know, I don't always do that. Mostly I wear the suit. But we're here to talk about the state of the city. And so Carla, by the way, Carla, wonderful video. Let's give it up for Carla. All the people that danced so well in that video, thank you very much. All the work that's been done by the Chamber of Commerce. This is just such a wonderful event. And thank you, Casey Ritz. He's here, Casey. Thank you. Casey is the new president of Segerstrom Center for the Arts. He's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, and he came from Broadway. Yeah. The state of the city is not quite as good as the Alabama football program, but as you'll see in a moment, it's pretty good. We're very lucky to have you, and thank you for letting us into your house. I appreciate it. Not your house, but you get the picture. So I'm here to declare, I have the by the power vested in me, I'm here to declare the state of the city. And Carla let it slip a little bit. It's the state of the city is better than ever. Better than ever. Can I get some claps for that? And you might say, okay, here comes this new mayor right out of the box making these audacious, hyperbolic statements about the state of the city. But I do believe that when you hear these words that I'm going to lay on you and you hear from our city council, you will in fact leave here thinking that the city is better than ever. So let's talk about the council. Let's start with the council, my dear friends here at this table. You know, in a time in our country where there's so much acrimony and lack of civility in politics, this group, and I mean the whole group, all 7, have chosen collaboration, have chosen to be civil to one another, have chosen to address problems straight on. And you'll see for yourself how wonderful this group is, because we're going to have 5 of the council members come up and speak to you. And without that council is, I think, in terms of collaboration, second to none in Orange County. So let's give it up for the council. I know I would not be on this council, and neither would they, most likely. And we wouldn't be saying that the city was better than ever without our supervisor, Katrina Foley. The city is better than ever because also of her leadership, of what she did during her time as mayor in a very dark time. And what she continued to do when she became the supervisor and got the county vaccinated. And that was so key. Thank you for all your efforts and everything you do. The city is better than ever because of the leadership. Lorianne Farrell Harrison. Lorianne, raise your hand. We recruited Lorianne from our neighboring city, Huntington Beach, and she joined us in July of 2019, and I said, welcome to the jungle. And boy, was that true, was it not, Lorianne? But Lorianne has sound fiscal management. She's now battle tested, as we all are, and she's recognized in the entire county as a leader among city managers. And she is the wartime, wait for the Godfather reference, she's our wartime consigliere. And we could not have gotten through that without her. I would say that if you have a chance, hire a city manager with 2 Ivy League degrees from the Bronx, and you will get the right mix of intellect and grit that you need to get through a pandemic or anything else. Susan Price. So Susan Price, ever give it up for Susan Price? Susan Price, we took her, again, Lorianne recruited her over from the county. She was the czar, the homelessness czar or czarina, whatever that is. And she has done an amazing thing. We opened up our homeless shelter in April of this year. Since we opened up our temporary shelter over at the Lighthouse Church, we've housed 200 people from the streets into permanent housing during that time. To put it in perspective, there are about 200 people here. So 200 souls that were living on the streets that are now living in walls of their own and have shelter because of the work not only of Susan, but of so many people in our network for homeless solutions. That's a huge accomplishment. And during that time, not one resident of that shelter got COVID. So let's talk about some of our other leaders. We talked about Susan. Raja Setharaman. Raja, raise your hand. Raj is our Director of Public Works, and he's Mr. On Time, on budget. He juggles 68 capital improvement projects. And our roads, drive around, the roads are smooth. Don't you think the roads are smooth in Costa Mesa? It's a proven fact that they are. We are number 2. We are number 2 in pavement index, second only to Irvine. So anyway, but we're going to catch them. Right? We're gonna catch Irvine. There's other reasons to be in Costa Mesa instead of Irvine. Carol Molina, raise your hand. So she is, she's our finance director, and there was nobody who we needed more during the pandemic than our finance director. And I will say something is, we are one of the only cities, second only to Newport Beach is the other one, that did not use any reserves during the pandemic. And it's because of the decisions not only that Carol made and the creativity of Carol, but of all the department heads that I'm mentioning, and of course, also Lorianne. So that's something to clap about, don't you think? Not using the reserves. So the chiefs aren't here. They're on vacation someplace. But Chief Stefano, Jason, I want you to text the chief and tell him that I said this when he's on vacation. Was he in Italy? He's in Hawaii. Okay. But tell him I said that he's a great chief, and he's the chief of chiefs. So in all of California, they have an association of chiefs, and he's the president of the chiefs. So tell him, you're going to text him that I said that? That's good. Okay. Vic, I want you to tell Chief Glass that I said, Chief Glass is retiring. Chief Glass is retiring, and he has really served our city for so many years so well. And it was during a very difficult time that he took over. And of course, we had, we had the pandemic. We had protests in our city, peaceful protests. One person was arrested. Nobody got their property damaged during those protests, and people were allowed to exercise their First Amendment rights because of the good work of not only Chief glass, but the entire Costa Mesa Police Department. So give it up for the chief. Kim Barlow is here. Kim, raise your hand. City attorney, she's back there. So we always have lawsuits going on. We've got a lawsuit that's going to be heard at the Ninth Circuit on the 29th of this month regarding our victory that we had in 2018 in the Yellowstone case. We have cases going on all the time. We sued the state and federal government. Who would sue Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump at the same time? And we won. We won, and we kept our community safe. Thank you very much, Kim, for everything you've done. That was a real big deal. We would not be better than ever without the work that you did. Steve Ely is our, he's in charge of information technology at the city, and no one is more resourceful than Steve. No one is more resourceful, but we're getting him some help. We're doing a full IT upgrade at our city, and that's an area where next year we'll tell you that's even better than it is today. Jennifer Lee, the long-suffering Jennifer Lee. Jennifer Lee is dealing with the housing element. She dealt with One Metro West, a beautiful project. She worked on that for years, and now my dear friends in the cannabis industry are going to be interacting quite a bit with Jennifer Lee. So thank you for all the work that you do. Jason Minner, who's in charge of our parks, he took over during the pandemic, and he just had a shell of a team because we had to lay off so many of people in his department. And he's brought it back and delivered great programs to the community, great programs to the children this summer. Thank you, Jason, for all your work. And on Saturday, we're opening up our playground at Lions Park and a Norma Herzog Community Center. That's all under Jason's supervision, so thank you. Oh, and Raja, yeah, I should have said that. So he's helping me out. So Raja, he built the library with his own hands. He simultaneously built the homeless shelter. So he's quite a guy. So anyway, I want to, and it's all the employees too. These are the directors. I want you to stand up, directors, and just let us just rain applause on you. Stand up, directors, and let us rain applause on you. So there's the directors, but there's so many employees. We have, I think it was 530 employees that we budgeted, and every one of them is so loyal to the city and so essential to the city, and they stepped up during the pandemic to make us better than ever, and they agreed to all. Lorianne did something that is extraordinary, and I keep talking about Lorianne, but she deserves it. She negotiated 8 collective bargaining agreements for furloughs within 30 days. So we could save that money. And there's somebody else on the other side, right? Those associations, those employee associations that stepped up and cooperated and sacrificed for our city and our city's fiscal health. And we were able to end the furlough and give them their money back when we got our ARP money. So give it up for all the employees of the city. We are better than ever because of our business community, and we were so worried about the business community. We did everything we could. We said we put in an eviction moratorium. We provided millions of dollars of grants to our business community, and we said, well, what's going to happen? We were worried. We wanted to keep them alive. They stayed alive. They stepped up. Many of them are members of the Chamber of Commerce. They figured out different ways to work around it. We had to-go cocktails, which is one of my favorite things. Major silver lining out of the pandemic. We had outdoor eating and outdoor retail. The pavilion at the South Coast Plaza where people could buy a $10,000 Birkin bag outside. I mean, what's better than that? My wife did not buy a $10,000 Birkin bag outside, but somebody did, and that's important, and that's why we're better than ever. So thank you to our business community for being resilient and bouncing back and surviving just like we wanted them to. So our nonprofits, we have Power of One Foundation is here. I saw Shawnee. Shawnee, raise your hand. Shawnee. When people in our community were hurting, and they had food insecurity, God just dropped this wonderful organization on us, the Power of One Foundation. They connected with Andrea Marr and Arliss Reynolds, and before you know it, they were delivering food to needy people at IKEA, and then at the fairgrounds. Thank you very much, Michelle and Ken. By the way, don't you guys have someplace you should be right now? You want me to wrap it up? Yeah, I know. The fair opens tomorrow. A few other shout outs to our nonprofits. Trellis is in the house. Ian Stevenson. 800 people showed up for Love Costa Mesa Day to various projects. Fresh Beginnings, Bill Nelson of Fresh Beginnings is the person who's in charge of feeding all the folks at the shelter. And it was the Network for Homeless Solutions is so vast. It's unbelievable what they do. Mercy House, Larry Haynes, my neighbor, Mercy House is running our shelter. And thanks be to God for the Lighthouse Church and Pastor Phil, who stepped up and provided our space for our temporary shelter. We're better than ever, not only because of our businesses and our staff and our employees and our city council and Katrina Foley. We're better than ever because of our residents. And you see them all over the place, volunteering right and left, pulling weeds, buying doubles at In-N-Out. That's important stuff. Coaching teams. Our residents are the best. And I've been it's been a joy to be a resident of the city of Costa Mesa for my last 32 years. And I will be, hopefully, for my next 32 years if I make it. But we've got developments. We're better than ever because we have stuff that's going on. I said the fair is opening tomorrow. Then we've got, as I said, Lions Park. The Norma Herzog Community Center is opening the very next day on the 17th. And the playground, Airplane Park, is back thanks to Raja and Jason and all their great work. We have ACMA being constructed. I could hit a pitching wedge to ACMA right over there, and that's going to open in 2022. The Chargers training camp is opening on July 28th. They've got a new coach. They got a hot quarterback. Let's hear it for as Tom said, the Costa Mesa Chargers. And the Chargers are staying at the Westin this year. Mike, the Chargers are staying at the Westin, so that's great. We have stuff happening. We've got a project going on Randolph Street that is moving forward. We've got new parking there. We've got a roundabout going there, and that's right where all of our breweries are. And so we've got all these great breweries. Do you guys go to the breweries? That's great. I usually Uber to the breweries, but there's plenty of parking there now. Cannabis, we've talked about cannabis. Cannabis is coming into town. Raise your hand if you're from the cannabis industry. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. You have a true partnership with the friendly government that wants you to succeed. And it's a 7% tax that we imposed as the city. 1% of that is going to two different programs. The arts, we're here celebrating the arts, and also first-time home buyers, a first-time home buyers program. Because, yeah, you can clap for that, because so many of our kids that grow up here in Costa Mesa, including my own kids, can't afford to live in Costa Mesa. So buy your cannabis in Costa Mesa. You know, cannabis passed with 65% of the votes. That's why I feel so confident up here talking so positively about cannabis. And no council member got 65% of the votes. So one thing we know for sure is cannabis is more popular than any of the council members. We've got great, in the video they mentioned Anderl. Anderl is moving to the press. That's going to be great, up to 2,500 jobs. Anderl is a wonderful organization. They help the military. They do surveillance for the military, drones and all kinds of things like that. They're going to support we got school board members here. They're going to support our STEM programs, both in the Newport Mesa School District and at OCC. And they hire 20% veterans. So we recognized our veterans before. It's a great business, and they're very welcome to come to Costa Mesa, and we're very pleased to have them. That was the largest real estate deal last year in Orange County, was the Anderl deal at the LA Press. I'm almost done. We have two other big real estate developments. We heard and saw the video about One Metro West. They have the courage to be going forward on our first Measure Y vote. So they got through the first stage of the city council approval, and they're going forward on Measure Y. So best of luck with that, One Metro West. You guys, it's a project that I voted for and I support very much. And the Avenue of the Arts. The Avenue of the Arts, I don't know if anybody's here from that hotel, but that is a project that's going to be terrific. Right here in this area, they're going to add 150 rooms. It's going to be a 4-star luxury hotel right in the city of Costa Mesa. Are we not better than ever? We're better than ever. Couple more points. Fiscal management. We're one of only 7% of the cities in California have a AAA rating, and we're one of them. We're the top 7% in the state of California. As I said, we balanced our budget didn't have to take anything out of our reserves. Only Newport Beach can say that. We have more police officers now than we have since the Great Recession. They're all wearing body cams, and we approved a new training facility for the police officers, and they did a terrific job, as I said earlier, with the protest. Our fire department is going out on all these wildfire calls, keeping our community safe. Our whole state of California depends on them. Now, it's not that we're better than ever. It's not that we don't have challenges. We have challenges. As I said earlier, we have people that can't afford to live in our city. We have too many people that are living in poverty, too many people that are in our city with mental illness. We still have people living on the streets that are homeless, and that's not acceptable. We do. We have challenges. And I don't have all the answers for how we're going to face those challenges, but I know looking out in this crowd, and I know with what we've said right now that we will meet those challenges, and we'll come back here next year in 2022, and we'll say we're even better than we were. Okay. God bless the city of Costa Mesa. Now, as I said, we're going to hear from 5 of our council members. Don Harper couldn't make it. He maybe is in Hawaii with Chief Stefano. Who knows? But I'm proud to introduce the Mayor Pro Tem, the representative from District 3, where the fairgrounds is, where City Hall is, right in the center of our city, and graduate from the United States Naval Academy. My dear friend and colleague, a wonderful council member, a wonderful Mayor Pro Tem. Give it up for Andrea Marr.
All right, so who's ready for 5 more 30-minute speeches? No, actually, I'm going to invite my council colleagues up here. We've all got a few words to say about what's going on in the city, and we can probably cycle through us faster if we're all up here at one time. We all really get along, as you can tell. So I just wanted to say, there's a couple of things that are near and dear to my heart. I was elected in 2018. 2019, I finally kind of felt like I knew what I was doing, knew how to get something into the budget cycle, and then COVID happened. So, I think that first year was really me learning, and that prepared us to be as ready as we could for when COVID happened. we were the first city in the county to declare a state of emergency, and it was because of what we saw happening at the state and federal level, wherein they wanted to put COVID patients at Fairview Developmental Center, and at that time we knew nothing about what the plan was or how that was going to work. So in many ways, we were ahead of the game just by necessity. That allowed us to also take other responses. So as John mentioned, if I look back on the last 2.5 years of being elected, the single thing that I am most proud of, to be honest, is that very first food distribution at IKEA. So as John mentioned, that was Arliss and I looking around and seeing other folks doing food distributions and thinking like, gosh, that's something that we really need to do. We know a lot of people have lost their jobs all of a sudden. We called our friends at IKEA and they said, yes, you can use our parking lot. And then we called the Orange County Food Bank and they said, you're really gonna do that by yourselves, huh? We know some people. We know some people who happen to be really, really good at doing food distributions. And so Shani and Andre, we could not have done it without your help. Power of One Foundation stepped in. And to this date, that's still the thing that I am most proud of in the last 2.5 years I've been serving. We did a lot of other really good stuff. We issued 80+ permits for temporary use of parklets so that restaurants could expand outside. Over $3 million in grants went out to our businesses. Rental assistance program provided $387,000 in relief to 124 families. And we partnered with the County of Orange and 360 Clinic to provide so much stuff at the fairgrounds. So vaccination site, and before that, the testing site. Could not have done it without the fairgrounds' participation, support, everything. Michelle Richards, thank you. You are an amazing asset to this community. And the work didn't stop, right? I think everyone thinks that we just paused for 1.5 years while COVID happened, but that is not the case. So we built EV charging stations. We became a LEED Gold, I wanna make sure, LEED Gold certified city. We're one of few in the entire country that is certified LEED Gold. We continued with many of their sustainability planning efforts. We replaced streetlights, like the actual lamp that's in a street lamp, and saved $80,000 just by virtue of doing that successfully. So our work has continued. I'm so proud of our sustainability efforts in particular. That is near and dear to my heart, and that is thanks to the work of our sustainability manager, Salem Afaworki and Raja Satharaman. So thank you so much. And last but not least, and then I promise I'll turn over the microphone here, we are sitting in this beautiful building where I have been proud to help steam tablecloths in preparation for our annual art event and do all kinds of other crazy work to make sure that it went off without a hitch. But we are finally funding our arts and culture master plan and our arts coordinator position, and really adding that function into the inner workings of the city so that we can continue our mission of being the city of the arts. So really, really excited to announce that. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Councilmember Gameros, representing District 2.
Thank you very much. My name is Lauren Gameros. I'm the councilman for District 2. I was going to talk about cannabis, but I think we've burned all that up, so I'm going to go on to the next thing. Thank you. So no, I just want to cover a couple of things very briefly. I've been a council member now for almost 8 months. I'm still very new to this. It's been a wonderful experience. I've had an opportunity to work with wonderful people, the staff, the city manager. When I got introduced to this, I was really nervous. I'm still pretty nervous, but I managed to pull through with the help of just everybody in the community. It's been a wonderful experience. I want to talk a little bit about homelessness. I didn't really comprehend what it was we were doing with the homeless shelter at first, but Susan Price introduced me to the homeless shelter and what we were doing, and it's a wonderful program. If you haven't gone there, go there and see what we're doing. We're making changes. We're not only changing this community, but we're changing Newport's community. Huntington Beach is following. They're joining in. It's going to be wonderful, not only just for here, but for the surrounding community. So take a look at that if you have the time. It's really good. I also want to talk about very briefly what we're doing for organizational stability. We've brought in 40 new staff members, 47 part-time positions. That's really embracing what's going on. We're investing in technology. I personally have had a chance to speak with the director for the IT department, and I know that he's going to lead the community and what we have going on with all the new applications that are coming in for our new businesses, so I'm excited for that. I'm going to be very brief. If anyone ever wants to talk to me, I'm an open door, I'm a boots on the ground kind of guy, and if you need me, I'm here for you. So I want to introduce Manuel Chavez. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Gameros. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'm Manuel Chavez, District 4 council member, also the young one on City Council. You guys may know me. I have a few key priorities. One's been mentioned by John, cannabis. One we mentioned by Mr. Harlan, housing. But the other two are really important to me. They're quality of life things. Parks and infrastructure. They're bread and butter of our community. We're very blessed in Costa Mesa. We have about 31 parks and 2 public golf courses, which I know are really good revenue stream for us and a great place to relax during COVID. I know John and Jeff were there a lot. And we're focusing a lot on park expansions this past year. You know, Pro Tem mentioned the fact that we weren't staying stagnant during COVID. We were expanding parks. You know, we're looking at ways to expand 2 parks in my district, Shalimar Park and Kitchen-Reliable Park. Looking at ways to expand that quality of life that everyone deserves in Costa Mesa. We're also going to avail this Saturday, and I hope you can all attend, Lions Park Playground. You guys may have seen all the past 10 years, all this construction in Westside Costa Mesa. You know, I always mention the fact that my little sister, who's 12, didn't have the opportunity to play at Lions Park, which is her neighborhood park. We're really getting back to the ground and back to the roots, ensuring that all our kids have the access to quality parks. Furthermore, we're also working with nonprofits in our district, like Save Our Youth, right? We're making sure we're funding our youth, making sure we have the opportunities for them to succeed. And that's really our goal as council, make sure that our next generation can become the best generation. Furthermore, our city infrastructure. Mayor Stevens already mentioned, we have the 2nd best roads in all Orange County. That is no small feat, because think about all the South County roads you compete with. We're doing a great job there. And furthermore, we have about $24.5 million of capital improvements on the way. Like we said, we're not sitting here stagnant, trying to survive. We're trying to thrive. So look forward to all those great things in Costa Mesa. And now I'll pass over to Arliss Reynolds. Thanks.
I wish you all could see this view. I think this view and seeing all of you out here combined with all of this very compelling information has convinced me that Costa Mesa is better than ever. And I was skeptical at first because I know that we have a lot of work to do, but I hope you guys are taking away that there's a whole lot of good work still happening. I'm the council member for District 5, and with Manuel Chavez, we make up Westside Costa Mesa. I like to say District 5 wraps its arms and gives a big hug to District 4 on the west side, and there's a lot of really exciting things happening on the west side, starting on Saturday. Please join us Saturday morning for Airplane Park opening, Community Center opening, movie in the parks. It's a really exciting time for a kid who grew up on the west side to see all of these wonderful investments happening over there. I have to talk about active transportation, and I'm listening to all these wonderful things about our roads. We are working on our bike lanes, and we're working on our sidewalks as well. Active transportation is not just a fun thing to do, it's a key part of sustainability, a key part of public health, and a key part of economic development. I know the Travel Costa Mesa team out there knows that the tourists we want to bring to Costa Mesa to stay in our hotels, to eat at our restaurants, they want to come to a city where they can walk and bike safely around. So that's another reason that I push this in almost every conversation I have. I'm very happy to report that we've invested more than $2 million in our active transportation plan, our biggest investment yet. And we are hiring an active transportation coordinator, so someone at the city who will be solely focused on making Costa Mesa safe and fun and pleasant to walk and bike. We've got great projects happening, both on the north side and the south side of Orange Coast College. Lots of great work there, wayfinding signage throughout the city, pedestrian improvements, crosswalks to parks. I hope you guys will all get out and start walking as well, and biking as well. A few fun programs we have in the works to help stimulate some of that walking and biking activity. I've been talking to Carla at the Chamber on the Costa Mesa's Back Bike Rack program. We've been working really hard on getting bike racks in all of our parks. Now we're looking at getting bike racks in front of businesses to help get people to park in front of businesses and buy food, buy clothes, just buy anything. We've been talking to Travel Costa Mesa about bike tours around the city, bikes to murals, bikes to restaurants. And we're really close to bringing back cyclocross. We had cyclocross in 2019 where we brought Olympian cyclists to Costa Mesa for a sort of internationally famous event. So really looking forward to that. The last thing I want to touch on is community engagement, and we've taken such strides in community engagement, both with our residents and with our business community. I hope you all are experiencing that. We've got bilingual messaging as a regular part of our communication, lots more community meetings. I'm hoping you all are feeling the opportunity for input on everything we're doing. We're active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor, and I think Tony's working on our new TikTok channel. Just want to share that we as a council and as staff recognize the expertise that you all bring to the table in the respective fields you work in, and we want to build on that expertise, learn from you, and how to move forward together as we restore Costa Mesa. And Councilmember Jeff Harlan from District 6.
Good afternoon. I'm actually Tony Dodaro, the new council member for the East Side. So I represent the East Side. My name is Jeff Harlan. It's largely bordered by Newport Beach, County of Orange, and contains our commercial corridors of 17th Street and Newport Boulevard. The only thing I really want to talk about tonight, and I'm going to try and limit this to like public comment. So John, if you need to cut me off, feel free, is simply housing. It's the number one issue I hear about throughout the city. And even in District 6. And it's not limited to just general comments. In fact, I had a conversation with my oldest daughter the other night, Sophie, who was really interested in how expensive it is to live here. We talked about the cost of living, the premium that we pay to really enjoy Costa Mesa and the Newport Mesa area. And after having a long discussion, she said, Dad, I don't think I can afford to live here, which was just crushed me. And that's why I ran. I wanted to make sure that we put policies and programs in place so that my 17-year-old daughter, who I don't imagine any of you having that conversation with your kids when you were that age, or with your parents, can actually have a place to live here. And so we are in the middle of our housing element update, another program that Jennifer Lee is undertaking. We have been mandated by the state to plan for nearly 12,000 units of housing over the next 8 years. Just to put that in perspective, that would be about a dozen One Metro West projects, if we put it all together. It's a tremendous amount. It's a huge lift for this city. But I am confident that my fellow council members are all committed to working towards this. We all see the value in trying to maintain what we have here in Costa Mesa, what we really love, but also trying to grow smartly. So that means locating housing near jobs. It means reducing impacts on the environment and transportation. And it means just retaining the uniqueness that we have here. So with that, I'm going to conclude, and I think I'm supposed to call up Tom Johnson. Yes?
I saw Arliss up here talking about all the bike racks and everything. Bike here, bike there. And then I see the Robbins brothers over here who sell cars, thinking like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't bike everywhere. Somebody drive a Ford, right, guys? Okay, and if you need a Ford, go down and see the Robbins, Jim and Dave over there. So, okay, we got a couple of awards to give away, and we're going to get out of here, I promise you, by 6. I said 4, but 6. No, we're going to get out of here quickly. The first award I want to present is called the Community Partner Award. I would like Vanessa Pasillas to come up. Where's Vanessa? Okay, come on up. And Vanessa is with IKEA, and while she comes up here, Carla, I'd like you to join me up here also. Carla somewhere around. Come on up. There's stairs on either side. Okay, so we're presenting the Community Partner Award to IKEA. IKEA has been just a wonderful neighbor in Costa Mesa. I'm sure most of you have been there to at least buy one bedroom, probably more than one, or living rooms or whatever. But anyway, been a great community partner. They've been great during the COVID-19 pandemic. They have helped so many different people and so many different organizations during the difficult times. To kind of put it into a little bit of perspective, in 2020, IKEA globally provided $26 million of in-kind donations around the world throughout the pandemic. In the United States, they committed $1.6 million, and on a lot of different things: blankets, bedding, solutions, food resources, just lots of stuff. Locally, IKEA Costa Mesa has been dedicated to financial and physical resources, helping our most vulnerable populations. To give you an example, for the at-risk and homeless in town, they have hosted on-food distribution centers. They've delivered food to local nonprofits around town, furnished 4 homeless shelters, remodeled 3 schools, and just done a lot of things. Some of the people they've been involved with: the Priority Center, Power One Foundation, Trellis, Community Action Partnership of Orange County, OC Food Bank, the Fire Department, Project Hope Alliance, Thomas House, Union Rescue Mission, Career, Leading Purpose, Human Options, Bracken's Kitchens. The list literally goes on and on and on. The person I always see at the forefront of that is Vanessa, and Vanessa, on behalf of the Costa Mesa Chamber of Commerce and for the people of Costa Mesa, we'd like to recognize you with the Community Partner Award. Thank you. Carla reminded me that they also donated all the furniture for the Costa Mesa Chamber office. So just a great, great organization. Now, the next one is not going to be as easy to introduce, because where I could just call up Vanessa for IKEA, when it comes to introducing the Newport Rib Company, we've got like 300 people sitting over here. And I want all the people from the Rib Company to come up here, maybe get in front of me. John, you and Kathy maybe join me on stage here, but Fran and Karen, Laura, come on up. Everybody come on up. John, I know your son's there. Grab your sons. Come on. Everybody come up from the Rib Company. Okay. If you don't know about the Rib Company, you don't live in Costa Mesa. The Rib Company is there. John, coming up on stage, you and Kathy. I'd get everybody up here, but I don't know what, there's a lot of people. So anyway, the Rib Company is so instrumental in everything Costa Mesa. They, besides being the go-to restaurant where you go to see everybody in town, they do so many different things. Fran and Karen started this business 37 years ago. You were just a teen then, Fran. First thing you did, okay. And there are actually, under Fran and Karen, there are 3 family members that kind of manage the business under them, and it's John, is Dave here? Dave's not here, right? And Laura Marquin, and they're just a great family to work with. If I'm running a golf tournament, one of the first people I call are the Rib Company, because they are kind. They give to the community. During the pandemic, they were attacked like every other restaurant in town, where they had to close up. They couldn't serve, a lot of in-house dining and things like that. So what did they do? They got vans. They started taking food out, and I think I had a number in here of several thousand different meals. 2,898 meals were delivered to those needy Newport Beach residents. Oh, Newport Mesa. I was going to say, wow, okay. But, they have the wonderful area behind Newport Rib where, they've continued on to try to host different events there. Throughout the course of the year, they do great things with our schools. If you have a kid that's in sports or in band or whatever, chances are their celebration is at the Newport Rib Company. They have a standing trophy in the athletic competition between Estancia, I'm doing this without notes, between Estancia and Costa Mesa High School, where the sports teams from each school compete for, what's the trophy called?
All Sports Trophy.
The All Sports, I just wanted to check and make sure John knew what it was. Okay, the All Sports Trophy. And it's a great competition throughout the course of the year. And then at the end of the year, the winning school gets to come down there and celebrate, or you go to them and celebrate. Yes. And they also do things like, if you go to the big game between Costa Mesa and Estancia for the football game, who's in the field serving, food to everybody? It's the Newport Rib Company. But in addition to all of that, they've done a lot of other things. They've partnered with Trellis to donate each month for the homeless people. They work with groups like Goodwill Industries. If you go in there in the morning, you'll see people from Goodwill Industries that are looking to get that first job or whatever, and the Rib Company has them in there folding napkins, putting together their setups for their silverware and things, trying to engage them and teach them things to live a productive life. They do so many fundraising nights throughout the year. They donate when they do those fundraising nights. If your organization calls them, they take 20% of that. I mean, they mark everything up another 20, but is that right, John? I get that? 15. No, but they give 20% back to the organization, and so it makes it really worthwhile. And it's, you can't say enough about the Rib Company. It started with Fran and Karen, and you've been doing this for so many years, and you've been recognized so many times for all the great things you do, and we would like to present you this year with an award from the Chamber of Commerce to say thank you for all you do, and keep up the good work. Thank you. Carla, let's go down here and get a picture with everybody. It's an incredible family. We are lucky to have them in Costa Mesa. Speaking of lucky to have in Costa Mesa, we are lucky to have Lorianne Farrell Harrison. Lorianne, come on up. I jokingly get up here and tease about how important Tony is to the city and things like that. I know Tony doesn't do anything. He worked for me for 20 years, okay? This is the person that does everything, right? Am I right? Okay, so the city of Costa Mesa has been, on the cutting edge of dealing with the pandemic in town. They have, under Lorianne's direction, they have they declared the local emergency on the front end. They closed parks in a very timely manner and different facilities. They addressed the lack of formal emergency incident plans with using Fairview Developmental Center. As I said, they closed city parks. They closed parks and managed parks. They closed City Hall. They deployed 150 plus laptops to staff in a 2-week period to get staff engaged. If they had to go home to work and everything after they closed off City Hall, they could still do their jobs there. They adopted a temporary moratorium for tenant evictions. I thank you for that. I'm about 8 months behind in my rent, so perfect. They've held 15 plus virtual town halls. They've implemented a mandatory face covering ordinance and actively enforced it during a time when we really needed that. Where's your face mask? Okay. You're letting me down. Okay. 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 They created the Costa Mesa Business Assistance Collaborative that worked with small businesses to put together grant programs and shop Costa Mesa programs and such. They've done so many great things. We are lucky to be a part of this wonderful community. Every step we seem to have made under Lorianne's leadership has been the right one, and I congratulate that. And on behalf of the Costa Mesa Chamber, Lorianne, we want to present you and the City of Costa Mesa with the Pillar of Costa Mesa Award. Okay. And last but not least, I believe we have a presentation that we're going to do. Andrew Dgiovanna. Is Andrew still here? Here he comes. Carla, come on back up. And do we want the city back up, Andrew? Tony, come on up, will you? No. John, come on up. As I said, Tony doesn't do anything. I might as well get him to do one thing. Go ahead.
It's an honor to be here representing the office of Congresswoman Steele, and we'd like to acknowledge the essential work that both the city and chamber of Costa Mesa have performed over the last year, particularly in their resilience in dealing with and coming back from the challenges posed by the pandemic. It is my honor to present to both the city and the chamber congressional certificates recognizing your leadership, hard work, and dedication to the chamber and to the city.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I have just one more thing before we leave, and I call adjourn the meeting. Did Katrina leave? We're sure, because I got a great joke. Okay. No, Katrina brought a nice plaque with her to present. Does somebody have the plaque? Okay. Well, you can hand it to me afterwards, and I will gladly accept it on her behalf. I think it's for the chamber. It was very nice. I was going to say that. I'll give you 15 minutes to get out of here, and then Katrina will start her speech. No, thank you very much for coming. We love the support from the community, from Katrina at the county to John and Lorianne in the city and all of our council, to all the businesses in town, the Robins, the Newport Ribs, and the Ikeas and such. You all make this a great place, and we enjoy being a part of it. So thank you very much for supporting us. Have a great day.